Welcome back to it, guys, the Tobago Thursday edition of the Now Morning Show, where we are talking money matters. As back in December, the Ministry of Education announced that over 11,000 active eligible teachers across Trinidad and Tobago would be given back pay by the end of December. Because of reports confirmed up to yesterday, TTUTA has confirmed that many teachers have not received that back pay. And this morning, joining us via Zoom, Bradon Roberts of the Tobago the Tobago Officer for TTUTA, is joining us to give us some insight therein. Good morning, Bradon, and welcome to the show.
Good morning and welcome as well. Good morning to your team and our listeners and viewers.
We're jumping straight into this conversation because we know the dates and we have an idea of the numbers. But from TTUTA's perspective, what was actually promised to the teachers of Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, first of all, we had a very lengthy negotiation process where the CPU and the tactics and the strategies, we went to court and we reached the point of settling.
Right.
That would have taken place early up in the year 2023. The instruction to the ministry and to the division went in, I believe, around August time, somewhere around there. And then we had submissions that payment of the back pay needs to come in before Christmas. If we would have had one permanent secretary indicating that that would not have been possible, in that it may be between March or May, I can't really remember exactly the month that he would have mentioned. And we would have seen his removal. Now we have the situation now where the ministry and the division in a kind of a chaos trying to meet this deadline, and we are giving persons an expectation. Now the mother of all frustration is unmet expectations. So persons were told that by Christmas they will be getting their money. We all know when you are close to the finish line and they keep moving that line going further back, that is very exhausting and very frustrating. So some of our teachers who have been struggling for some time, they have had that expectation of Christmas, and then they move Christmas to December month end, and we are now in January. The ministry would have put out some information that is quite questionable. We don't have an idea what this 90% really number works out to. We would have seen some of the teachers classing themselves as 10%, but it seems as if everybody in the 10%. We have with the division of ILAs pretty often with the administrators, so have an idea as to where they reach and so on, and the challenges that they face in meeting the deadline. However, the teachers need to be communicated with as information went by the ministry and the division with particular dates, and they are yet to update our members as to what the new date is.
So, Bradon, we don't have a date or a new deadline just yet. Do we at least have numbers, specifics to how many persons have been left without that back pay in Tobago particularly?
Right, so I could also mention about Trinidad. Based on our calculations and the feedback we got, it would be just around 3,000 in our last count, and there are some of our teachers who may have not yet filled out that form that we would have put out to gather the information. In Tobago, we would have had, based on my communication with the administrator and so on, they would have worked. And they have been there on weekends and late in the evenings and so on. So I'm not discounting that they have put in. They would have reached close to 500 out of just about 800 and something teachers. The challenge is different. It's not to just put 4% on the existing salary. Some persons were at different incremental points, persons who have acted in different positions during the period. So it's not a straightforward calculation as many persons were led to believe. So they have their struggles trying to meet the deadline, and especially with the ministry, they created this hotline where you can call in and send the emails. But who will respond to the emails and the cost if they are busy doing the work? So we put things in place to further frustrate the teachers, and then we are left in the dark because we are not getting any information. More than when I interact with the persons on the division, I will get where they reach in terms of what they're working on this week and so on. But the teachers who promised by December 31st need to be given further information from the division and from the ministry as to what the challenge is and what the new date is.
Now, granted that we've seen in the past, not just with teachers, but across industries, when deadlines are not met, protests or some sort of action is taken. Will we need to brace for that sort of impact? Is there any discussion amongst teachers, TTUTA, any entities to perhaps retaliate in any way?
Well, first of all, we have been exercising great levels of patience. As an association, we have been liaising with the division as often as possible so that we do not reach to any level of expression of discomfort. Now, we would have seen many of our teachers expressing that level of discomfort, but as you know, as teachers, we don't go out and protest. We are debarred from protesting. There are different actions that we can use to portray a level of discomfort. We do not want to reach to any level of expressing discomfort. We would want the division and the ministry. And you see, absence of information is what causes the frustration, as also mentioned before. If we update our teachers, then the level of discomfort and discontent with what is happening would ease. So it's not that we are gauging any action or gauging anything. We are trying our very best to see how soon we can have the outstanding payments done. And if we work collaboratively with the ministry and the division, we should be able to get that done. But to say that teachers have a particular action, we know the law and how we are to operate within such.
Fair to find. And in that case, would you be able to tell us then overall the disposition of the teachers thus far? You've said that they are expressing or exercising great patience. We hope that continues as we wait for an update. But what would you say would be your parting thoughts on their behalf therein?
Well, you see, teachers and a lot of persons don't understand what it takes to be a teacher, and especially in Trinidad and Tobago, where there's this no money syndrome when it comes to education, where our teachers they put off a lot, they sacrifice a lot in terms of their personal life. As we know, it's one of the few jobs where you actually take work home and take your resources from home to help upkeep your job. So teachers have been living with that sacrifice. They give up family time because they're planning and doing all sorts of work during the weekend. They're staying back for evening classes and so on. And to see that they have been putting off so much of their personal life for this period of time, using of their own resources, because I'm certain not many schools in Trinidad and Tobago have received the funding for this term, and for last term, I'm not certain if they got their full quota. It then falls back on the teachers. Now, teachers have lives too, and sometimes we fail to understand that. And if we look even at the lowest level, those assistant teachers who receive just about 6,000 something dollars. By the time you pay your mortgage and you go to the grocery buy one trip, you're out of funds. So persons who are expecting that, all right, I will have this quota of funds to bring me out of this particular situation, then we leave them wanting. So the teachers were very despondent. We try our very best to motivate our teachers. However, they expect of us to advocate very forcefully for their just due. And that's part of the process where I'm even having this interview here. I trust that the powers that they would really understand the plight of our teachers. And we don't want to reach to the what if. What if this don't happen? Let us try and do our best by our teachers. I believe before putting out information, we should really get the groundwork in, because the real frustration comes from putting out that unrealistic deadline that they would have put out and excited teachers in a particular way and set them up for this great disappointment. So we stand with those teachers who are yet to receive. We understand what that frustration is. We will continue to liaise with the ministry and the division. I intend to go into the division tomorrow. I know that there is the funeral of the first chief secretary today. So tomorrow I intend to go into the division and have that kind of hands-on approach in seeing what is happening with our Tobago teachers and when they are likely to complete. Hopefully, the division has their release preparing as we speak, that they can update our members and not depend on tutor to be disseminating information as we get it.
Bradon, thank you so much for that insightful update. Best of luck. And of course, we'll check in with you soon. But for now, guys, we're taking a quick break. We're coming back with entertainment to wrap things up here on the Now Morning Show. Stick around.